sees a woman. She looks like she's in distress. Maybe her car broke down. I mean, you'd open the door for her, wouldn't you?
Stop.
Hey guys, Kiwi here, warning of spoilers for Breaking Bad, El Camino, and Better Call Saul up to Season 6, Episode 8. In this video, I'll be reviewing Episode 608 of Better Call Saul. Like the video if you end up enjoying it, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad updates. With that being said, let's jump into the breakdown. Beginning this episode, we get another mysterious cold open, which they've been doing a lot of this season, where the beginning connects to the end. The blue flower, Werner's slide rule, etc. This intro is a bit more straightforward, with Howard's car at the beach implying the cover-up to his death that we hear more about in the ending. We then pick up right where 607 left off, with Lalo speaking to Jimmy and Kim. Lalo instantly explains his plans for them to have one of them go to Gus's house and kill him, although he doesn't tell them who they're actually going to kill. Lalo knows that this could have one of two effects. One, they actually kill Gus, great, but if they don't, which they probably won't, it'll at least send all of Gus's men to his house and away from the Superlab where Lalo's going anyways. Jimmy jumping into action to send Kim to Gus's house instead of himself could be seen as both courageous and cowardly. Although it may seem initially cowardly due to Jimmy sending Kim to do the dirty work, it's courageous due to him wanting to just get Kim out of the apartment, probably assuming that whoever is left there with Lalo will die. Ray Seahorn's acting during these apartment scenes is incredible, as she's trying to contain a full-blown panic attack while shaking with adrenaline and anxiety. She's amazing the entire episode actually, but her amazing acting stood out to me particularly during the first few apartment scenes. I also like the moment of Kim being so shaken up that she forgot to put on shoes until Lalo reminded her, possibly paralleling episode 607 when she left her shoes in the shot on the grass for the fake mediator photo shoot until the camera guy reminded her to grab them.
Hold on.
You're gonna need your shoes, right?
Shoes in the shot.
During Kim's drive to Gus's house, she has a moment where she considers telling the police but doesn't. If she did, it wouldn't have done much good as Lalo had already left the apartment by that point. Obviously Kim didn't know that, but if Lalo was still there with Jimmy, he would have most likely killed Jimmy if the cops started arriving, or it would have turned into a hostage situation, which isn't good either. Plus Kim would have had to explain everything with how they're involved with the cartel, or how they screwed over Howard, and how they got him killed, so it's just a whole can of worms not really worth getting into, at least in the moment. Kim's also on a time limit for Jimmy's life, forcing her to get the job done, even if the time limit didn't end up mattering due to Lalo leaving anyways, but as I said, obviously Kim didn't know that. Before Lalo leaves, he gags Jimmy and ties him to a chair while turning up the volume to the movie that Jimmy and Kim were watching. There's so many moments of amazing cinematography in this episode, such as the camera on the side of the chair as Lalo slides it over to Jimmy. There's also many Breaking Bad Easter eggs and references in this episode.
Whoa. It wasn't me. It was the guy.
Oh, no. No, it wasn't me. It was Ignacio. He's the one.
Which I did a full video discussing, but I gotta emphasize just how much I love the parallels between Kim arriving to Gus's house and Walt doing the same in the Breaking Bad episode 38 snub. So just as Kim is about to do the deed, Mike rushes her from behind and pushes her into the house. She gets interrogated and explains what's going on. Before Mike leaves to try and handle the situation, Kim yelling out to him, "Where were you?" is just so powerful, and you can tell that Mike does feel bad. While Mike goes to the apartment, Gus speaks to Kim on the phone, who tells him that Jimmy convinced Lalo to change his mind. This makes Gus realize two things. One, that this isn't Lalo's plan and it's just a decoy. Two, that Lalo will listen to people talk, foreshadowing what Gus does later on in order to get the time he needs. So Mike arrives at the apartment and saves Jimmy, who tells him that Lalo left right after Kim, making Mike realize that it's a decoy as well. But it's too late. Gus is already acting on his hunch, arriving at the Superlab himself. Lalo arrived before him and was able to sneak in due to Tyrus's crew leaving to go help Gus and Mike with the Kim and Jimmy situation. Gus arrives with a few men and quickly realizes how Lalo snuck in. Just as Gus turns around, Lalo shoots all of Gus's men, leaving just the two of them alive. We get some more iconic Lalo vlogging as he instructs Gus to open the Superlab. I love the vlogging to audio in 607, and I was more than happy to see more of it in 608. In my Breaking Bad Easter egg video, I missed the fact that Lalo shooting Gus in his bulletproof vest could have possibly been a reference to the Salamanca twins doing the same thing to their gun and armor dealer in Breaking Bad when they were first revealed. So as Lalo and Gus enter the Superlab, Lalo kicks Gus down the last few steps, landing on his face. Apparently Giancarlo did this scene over 20 times, helping to build even his resentment against Lalo, which I found to be a very funny fact. Lalo knows that Mike will eventually realize that Jimmy and Kim were just decoys, along with the fact that Gus is missing and not answering his phone, so he calculates about how much time he has to kill Gus and escape before Mike gets there. Also, I just gotta add that the way that Lalo reloads his gun while holding on to the camera with his teeth is just badass. Gus stalls by telling Lalo how he truly feels about Eladio and the Salamancas, all for Lalo to record for Eladio so that Eladio will be fully on board Lalo's side for deciding to kill Gus. This is pretty much just a knockoff no-name brand version of Nacho's final monologue from 603, and I wonder if Gus even intended this to be the case on purpose, taking a page out of Nacho's book. As Gus unplugs the lights, it's almost comedic seeing him scamper off to his hidden gun while Lalo shoots at him. To be honest, it's kinda unrealistic that Lalo didn't kill him before he got the gun, but whatever, we all knew Gus would survive. That being said, the show still does a great job at making me worry for characters that have undeniable plot armor, whether it's in Season 5 with Bagman or Bad Choice Road, or in Season 6 with 607 and Jimmy and Kim in the apartment, or even Gus in this moment. So I assume that Gus uses Lalo's muzzle flashes from his gun as direction on where to shoot, and we see Gus empty his clip towards Lalo. It's also funny how scared Gus is in this moment, and granted I would be too, but just to see Gus cowardly trying to shoot the empty gun, just hearing the click of it. Clearly this is why Gus usually has other people shoot guns for him instead of doing it himself. Although with Gus's mysterious backstory of his whole Chilean past, I mean, he is a badass, but, you know, when you're really in the moment, I don't blame you for being a little bit scared of the situation, knowing what you have to do no matter what. So I can't knock him too bad though, because he does manage to hit a fatal shot on Lalo, right in the neck, possibly the jugular. Lalo bleeding out from his neck while Gus watches could also possibly be a reference to the box cutter scene in Breaking Bad, with how Gus killed Victor in the Superlab. Not sure if that's an intentional Easter egg or just a connection that us fans are making, but even so, the creators have said in the past how they welcome us fans making connections that they never really intended, just because of how deep the show is. Anyways, Lalo goes out like a freaking champ, giving a maniacal yet charismatic ugly laugh as his final breath. Lalo knows that Gus got lucky and can't believe it. And I hate to see Lalo go, just like I hated to see Nacho go, just because they're such amazing actors, they're such amazing characters. I love to see them on screen, and I wish we could get more scenes with them, but, you know, their story has to end sooner or later as the show's wrapping up, sadly, and they did an amazing job for both characters, respectively. So as Gus undoes his suit, with the adrenaline finally fading away, he realizes that he was shot in the hip. So Lalo did hit him, just not as bad as he hit Lalo. We then cut to freaking Lyle singing the Los Pollos theme song as he goes into work. I love Lyle, but my god, is he such a suck-up. What a perfect corporate employee, give this guy a raise. Actually, that's pretty much what Gus does here, calling Lyle to take over as temporary manager, making him open and close the store for the next few days and compensating him for it, as Gus gives the excuse of needing to be out of town due to a family emergency. As we cut to Gus, he's actually getting medical attention for his bullet wound and clearly needs a few days to heal up. Mike scolds Gus for acting out on his own instead of calling Mike to meet him at the Superlab, as it's very possible that Lalo could have killed Gus. Gus knows this, but doesn't seem to care too much about the risk that he took since he ended up winning, and since he finally doesn't have to worry about Lalo anymore, I feel like he just wanted to get that done and over with no matter the cost. We then go back to the apartment where Jimmy waits for Mike and Kim to arrive. One of Mike's men starts emptying the fridge, and the second that he started doing so, I just knew that they'd be sticking Howard's body in there. Mike gives Jimmy and Kim the rundown on how to handle the situation, how to act, along with how to cover up for Howard's death. He also implies that Lalo won't be bothering them anymore, but he doesn't outright say, Lalo's dead, I saw the body, I'm gonna bury him with Howard, you don't have to worry about it anymore. And I don't really like the consistency of this. I feel like they made Mike word it this way just so that we could still have the stipulation of Jimmy thinking that Lalo was still alive in Breaking Bad during that it wasn't me, it was Ignacio scene.
Lalo didn't send you? No, Lalo?
Who?
Oh, thank God. Oh, Christ.
Lalo said he was coming back.
He's not coming.
No, he said he was. He told me.
You understand me? He is not coming back.
So it seems kind of unrealistic for the dialogue. I see why they did it, it makes sense, it perfectly explains it, but I don't know, this is clearly just the creators trying to write their way out of the corner that they stuck themselves in, and although I do like this scene and it does make sense, it does kind of have the syndrome of, well, that's not really how people talk, or that's not what someone would actually say, or why can't you just say the thing, you know? The combination of Mike being wrong in the past, along with Jimmy's PTSD, could create paranoia in his head where he never truly believes that Lalo is dead, always looking over his shoulder. Anyways, by this point, Kim is definitely traumatized as she just sits there with a blank expression on her face, unable to say anything unless Mike specifically asks her to speak. As Mike closes the door on them, I share the feeling of dread with Jimmy as he notices them shoving Howard's body into their fridge. The final scene of the episode shows Mike and his men burying Howard and Lalo together in a hole under what becomes the floor to the Superlab. Besides the fact that this is horrible for Howard to be buried with his killer, I find this symbolic of the fact that now both the Lalo arc and the Howard arc for season 6 is over. This episode concludes each main arc from both respective sides of the show, the cartel side with Lalo and the lawyer side with Howard, as now both sides of the show have become one, clashing in the most horrific way possible. And as Mike gives Howard's body care during the burial, you can tell that he definitely feels bad for Howard dying due to not being in the game. We also see Mike take Howard's wallet and ring, which we saw in Howard's car during the opener. During a rewatch for this episode, everything truly came full circle in the most tragic way. I also discussed the cover-up story to Howard's death more in depth during my video on how Jimmy and Kim ruined Howard's legacy, so if you're curious why I kinda skimmed over that in this review, well, that's why. This episode wasn't as surprising or shocking as episode 607, but it was a solid episode of television and was definitely worth the wait. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, even regardless of Gus's plot armor. And by the way, Lalo shooting Gus in the chest with his bulletproof armor, that's pretty symbolic for plot armor, huh? This episode was incredibly strong, and when combining episodes 607 and 608 together, this definitely stands as the best back-to-back episodes of Better Call Saul in my opinion. I'm happy that both the Lalo arc and the Howard arc have come to a spectacular conclusion, and I'm genuinely excited for and looking forward to what could possibly happen in the remaining 5 episodes. This episode gets a strong S tier. I'll be continuing to rank all of the Season 6 Part 2 episodes on the same tier list as Part 1, and I'll possibly update the rankings once I do my actual full Season 6 Part 1 and Part 2 tier list videos. If you saw my Season 3 tier list, you'll know that I introduced double S tier as a ranking. Since I didn't have double S tier rank for my reviews on the first 7 episodes of Season 6, I won't have that rank available for the remaining episodes either. So although I won't have double S tier rank during my Season 6 reviews, once I do my full Season 6 Part 1 and Part 2 tier list, I will be revising my rankings for all the Season 6 episodes, along with bumping a few up to double S tier, so keep that in mind. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today. If you're new to the channel or just haven't yet already, subscribe and hit that bell notification to stay updated on when I post new content on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Check out my Patreon or give a super thanks to help support the channel financially. But most importantly, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Big talk. You done? You two in your mouths, Dios mío.